Hi, this is Nicholas Yock, a registered migration and education agent from Pathway to Oz. At Pathway to Oz, we provide migration and education advice to help you plan your journey to permanent residency in Australia. This video is going to outline a common pathway for permanent residency for temporary graduate visa holders. So you study the course, you get the grad visa, hopefully the next step's PR. So look, a question we're asked commonly is, can I apply directly for permanent residency after I graduate? And look, usually the answer is no. Applicants, generally speaking, will not have enough time when they finish their course to meet the requirements to apply for permanent residency straight after graduating. Being on a graduate visa, guys, it's incredibly beneficial in that it allows you additional time to live and work in Australia in your occupation. Living and working in Australia gives you a massive advantage in getting permanent residency. The other major benefit of the grad visa is it allows you time to build up the work experience requirements to pass the skill assessment. This is important as most permanent resident visas, or pretty much every single permanent resident visa, requires you to pass the skill assessment in your occupation. All right, guys, so there are two different types of permanent work visas to Australia, or permanent streams of work visas. The first is the employer-sponsored visas, and the second is the general skilled migration visas. We have separate videos on the employer-sponsored stream. I don't really like it compared to general skilled migration. So in this video, we're going to specifically focus on the general skilled migration visas, the skilled independent subclass 189, the state nominated subclass 190, or the regional nominated subclass 491. Look, guys, the reason I like general skilled migration visas is that on these visas, you're not sponsored by an employer, you're not tied to an employer. It's on your back, it's on your own, it's on you. Instead of being nominated by or sponsored by an employer, you're nominated by immigration or the state or territory. So this means you're not tied to a company, and it gives you much more flexibility, it's just a lot more preferable. Recently, the most common visas for our graduates are the state nominated, the permanent state nominated subclass 190, or the skilled regional subclass 491. So I'm going to focus on these, but please note, pretty much all general skilled migration visas have the same sort of process. Why moving on to the graduate visa is important? Look, guys, it gives you time to build up to meet the state nomination requirements, and it also gives you time to work in the industry to pass a skill assessment. In order to apply for a state nominated or regional nominated visa, if you're living in Australia, you will usually need to have a full skill assessment, and in most cases, to obtain a full skill assessment, you'll need to get post-qualification work experience. And then also for state nomination, for the 190 or the 491, you'll usually need to live and work in your occupation for a specific period of time. So most states might want you to live and work in your occupation for anywhere from like 3 to 12 months. So look, let's take an example of a couple of our previous clients. Emmanuel was a wall and floor tiler. He used the time on the grad visa to build up everything he needs to obtain permanent state nominated visas, the subclass 190. So on the grad visa, Emmanuel used the time to build up at least 1 year of work experience in order to pass the job ready program and obtain a full skill assessment. He also used the time on the grad visa to live and work in South Australia, where it was a requirement to work in your occupation for at least 12 months as a tiler in order to meet South Australian migration requirements. Greta is another example of one of our other previous students. Look, she was a civil engineering graduate. Greta used the time to meet her skill assessment requirements. So she actually didn't need any work experience to pass her skill assessment, but it still took a while to get through. She also used the time on the grad visa to meet the Queensland state migration requirements. So in Queensland, she needed to live and work in her occupation for at least 6 months full time in order to meet these requirements. So in both these situations, in every situation pretty much, the graduate visas must hold a full skill assessment and meet the state migration requirements before they can submit an expression of interest and be invited for these visas. So without a valid graduate visa or work visa, it's really difficult to meet these requirements to be able to apply for these visas. So look, guys, we have other videos on the state nominated 190 or the 491 or the 189 or the state requirements. So I'd recommend you check those out if you want a little more detail. And look, as always guys, please note the information is general in nature. It's not very specific, and I would recommend always organising a consultation with a migration agent to figure out your migration pathway that's tailored for you. Thank you.